All right, thank you, Ingrid. A couple of announcements before we get started. I want to thank Tico People Gas for sponsoring today's meeting. We have Daryl here tuned in to speak from Tico, and he tell us a little bit more about their organization.
Sorry, I think I was on mute. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, hopefully you can see my screen. It's super exciting to be able to be with you guys here. You know, as you guys do the tour of the middle school, really interested in what they have to share. My name is Daryl. I've been with Tico for 11 years. I've worked with developers and builders for a long period of time, for about 18 years with builders and developers. I actually grew up in a family of builders and even served as the VP at one of my local home builders associations. So we have a pretty long list of experience going back with builders and developers across the state of Florida. Just wanted to share kind of a quick snapshot of some of the stuff that we like to do when we work with architects and engineers. We have a training that we go all over the state with, where we just come and sit down with you guys inside of your local offices to kind of go over just some simple and easy ways of how to integrate natural gas systems into what you're doing. We always feel like our job is to equip you to be able to better fit your products and services as you're designing things into your customer space. So we always want to do a great job educating you so you can educate your customers. I just kind of had Miss Lori put this together for us. Just talks real simply about the HERS rating, and as you can see on this slide, you know, using natural gas tankless water heaters, you know, can gain you 6 energy points in the HERS rating, and that kind of extends in a similar relationship across the Florida Energy Code, Florida Green Building Code, LEED, Energy Star. You can see those relationships across the board. There's a lot more really cool tidbits that I could share with you if we had the opportunity to sit down and do that kind of training with you guys at a local level. Our goal is, like I said, is to make sure that we do the best job we can as a utility to equip you. And I always say this: if you haven't looked at natural gas for your products lately, it's not your grandfather's utility. Over the years, just as everything has gotten smarter, your utility has gotten smarter too. We've tankless water heaters and energy efficient products have made us both smarter, tougher, more resilient. I don't think you could choose a better fuel source if you were trying to find storm hardening and utilizing things to make you more resilient inside your project. So look forward to getting to know each and every one of you. Would love to be able to come and sit and do some training and go over some stuff one-on-one with your staff and your businesses. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Daryl, and thank you, Tico, for your continued support with the AIA and our chapter. A couple announcements before we get started on the tour. Good news, the 2020 golf tournament is officially back on. So you can join us Friday, September 11th at the newly renovated Eagles Golf Course in Odessa. And you can visit AIATampaBay.com to learn more about tickets, sponsorships, and what we're doing to ensure safety at the tournament. License renewals around the corner. And for those who might need a few CEU credits, you can join us for our second lunchtime virtual CEU series. That's July 20th through July 24th, and we'll have a daily online CEU presentation from 12 to 1, covering a range of topics for ceiling systems, for high-performing schools, to ceiling systems for ceiling systems for high-performing schools. Registration is opening soon, so be checking the AIA website for that. Finally, if you have any questions while we're on the tour, please chat in the Zoom. We have Winola here checking the chat. We will try to respond to those questions as we are going through the building. And with that, I will turn it over to you all.
Hey, thank you again. I'm Mike Gude. I'm the Director of Construction for Pasco County Schools. I'll just briefly share our overall vision of this complex out here and where we started and how we got to where we are today. Over a decade ago, we purchased this property here because of the high growth nature of the south central part of Pasco County. We have over 200 acres here, and our vision initially was to have a high school, a middle school, potentially an elementary school, and some ancillary facilities such as the warehouse, maybe a transportation department hub out here. So we started with the high school, which we designed and constructed, and they've been open now for a few years. As that high school grew into its building over there was a focus on the performing arts and the fine arts. So their performing arts programs became very robust. So we tagged on to that and said, as we're developing the middle school, why don't we bring in a arts component? So we ended up here with this performing arts wing, if you will, here at the middle school. And I'm sure you'll see that here shortly. So to maintain that, those programs throughout this entire campus. So the middle school is where we are tonight, and right next door, also on this complex, we are in partnership, cooperation with Pasco Hernando State College, and they are building an instructional performing arts center that will house a 450-seat theater. So the idea being our students that start here in middle school with the performing arts go on to the high school, and then from there, potentially to the Pasco Hernando State College, and we have different levels of programs, different facilities to one cooperative effort. So that's how we got here today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Johnson with Harper Jolly Architecture. Thank you for joining us this evening on our walk of Cypress Creek Middle School. First off, I'd like to, from everyone at Harper Jolly, thank you all for allowing us to be a part of this tonight. Thank the school district of Pasco County for letting us partner with them on seeing their vision through in terms of the bricks and mortar and how this site was developed. We also are the architect of record on the Instructional Performing Arts Center with Pasco Hernando State College. So it's very humbling to be the sole architect of 3 buildings on one campus. I don't know if we'll ever see that again in our lifetime. So it's very special, and we're awful grateful for that. I want to take just a moment and give you some of the vitals before we do the walk. As we began to master plan the campus, the first first building was the high school, and that's houses just under 2,000 student stations at about 250,000 square feet. Tilt wall construction on that. It was a modified prototype, so we worked with Mike and his staff and the vision of the district to use a high school prototype and update that to the current needs that they had. As we went through that design process, the vision for the middle school component on site came through. As we came on board for the middle school, as Mike mentioned, the performing arts programs became the driver. So this middle school campus is composed of 4 main buildings. We are in the dining and arts building here today. The total campus is just under 200,000 square feet of the 4 buildings, about 1,700 student stations. So you're approaching 4,000 students on this entire campus, just the middle and high school. It doesn't include the collegiate students. So, if you multiply that out by the number of people in the family, it's affecting a whole lot of people on a site when we first step foot out here was a greenfield site. So it's pretty amazing to transform this site. We can see the housing developments happening around here is a high growth area. So often proud to be a part of the entire campus. We added a black box theater to support that performing arts program component, and that is in this building that we're standing right outside the doors right now. The site circulation to accommodate all of the traffic flow, the bus flow, the student parking, the parent drop-off pickup is we're talking in terms of miles of asphalt. We blended that in with the environment and allow for good circulation throughout the globe. But all of that was done at the high school construction phase in support of the IPAC theater building and this middle school coming online. So, are there any other vitals you think we need to hit on?
No, I don't know if we can capture any of the buildings there, but you can see from the lobby of, we're in the Performing Arts building, and you can see here the two buildings that Steve just mentioned. So we have the high school there and the Performing Arts, which is still under construction. But we can
part of this entrance to this building in this pre-function space is envisioned by the district used as a community use as well. So they will schedule events through the administrator on the campus, but it'll be highly used before and after hours. So that's another great function of this building.
Yeah, so we can start, like, this is really a lobby, but also serves as a pre-function space for the black box. And we have the outdoor area, and the idea was that we could use, this entire area as a pre-function and also just a small gathering space. We have a projector here, and this, we can have a presentation going on here at any moment, or, for class educational purposes, or for, so we can go into the black box first. This is actually one of the most unique spaces of the school. It's really, it's a very flexible space that can be used as a small venue to host shows, or it can be used for theatrical, any show, educational purposes. So really, it's just like a blank slate that can be rearranged for any type of function. And the unique thing about it is that it offers the students, the middle school students, a college life experience. So as simple as it looks, a lot actually goes into it. It's kind of dark in here, so I don't know if you can see the video. This pipe bridge here, the main purpose of it is to keep the space very flexible with the lights, and the speakers can be shifted around to accommodate any type of those functions that I mentioned. We also added not only theatrical lighting, but like general ambient lighting, so that they could have, classes, presentations, testing, staff meetings, just host any of those functions. This is the control room, and all of that equipment can be managed from that room. Any questions? Okay. Yeah, so actually, like, Steve and I went to, with the district, like, we visited a few different black boxes when we started trying to, make sure that we sized the room accordingly. This was actually sized for 200 occupants max. And these curtains, they can move around, so they can open up the space, or open up all of the entire space for
If you have any questions and you want to chat to Nola, two smiley faces will get you.
She picked all the black finishes in the space. And Jordan coordinated all of the technology and equipment that was not in coordination, but
yeah, everybody being happy, seeing when we did our owner training and seeing the clients and the user groups, the key operators there, they were here about a week ago doing training on the lighting and sound system, and just how impressed and positive they were seeing the space, knowing how it was going to be used, made all that effort and coordination. We had several meetings just about this single one movement, and that's the end goal, and that's what it's all.
And we're gonna head over to the music, and the music suite towards the end of the corridor there. So this corridor takes us to all the spaces are the arts and music, and actually we take the windows, kind of showcase some of that rhythm, was to emphasize that this was the music end of it. Probably can we peek into this room? This is the band.
Yeah, they wanted a flexible dance spaces here adjacent to the black box theater, so that's why it's positioned so close to it. We can probably move on to the-
Yeah, we've been to the music. Winola, you want to talk about some of the finishes? The finishes selections that we coordinated with what we did at the high school. They wanted it to be a smooth transition from the middle school environment into the high school environment. So we did do our best to do similar finishes here that we did in the high school setting. I'm going to show, this is the band and orchestra room. So what's nice about this layout is that we separated the music rooms. So there, these rooms have acoustical requirements like within the room, and also the sound transmission from these rooms to the adjacent room. So we have the music rooms located between two corridors. We have the storage spaces in between the rooms, so that helps with the acoustics a lot. Winola picked out the acoustical panels. And then at the and those are the practice rooms, which can be used for individual music practice or small groups. And these are located along the exterior wall, so it also helps with the acoustics. These are prefab from Winger. Yeah, there's maybe not the best one room. That's better. Yeah, we could do a test, Lindsay. If you go out here, I'll go in here and see how much you can hear. I usually recognize this at.
You gonna do a voiceover here?
Yes. Are you doing it in here?
You have to come out here.
We can't hear you at all. We can't hear you.
Make sure you do that.
Yeah. Can't hear anything. Dead silent.
Huh?
Dead silent in there.
Was it? Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, we work pretty extensively with the music, folks to make sure that they have the ensemble room space, they have the larger spaces for the larger groups, and the acoustical, separation of those rooms for individual practice.
Mhm. What are the panels on the walls in the recording or in those practice rooms?
So those are like sound absorption panels that it's all prefab, so it all came from Winger.
Okay.
We just like left the space, we designed the space for it.
Yeah, they're basically
Okay.
engineered.
Does Winger do your acoustical study on that?
They helped us with the acoustical study, yeah. They helped us with all these panels, like some are different or more reflective. The ceiling ones are really reflective, and those are the.
Did you have an acoustical consultant or just Winger worked with you guys directly?
Well, this was a prototype, so it was previously designed
Okay.
as music spaces, but we didn't have a special acoustical dedicated to this project.
Okay.
But again, these panels in here are from Winger. These are the Winger panels. Like we have panels with multi-purpose that we can now
yeah, based on our experience designing spaces and like a design system of Wenger, that's how we did the location.
Actually, I was really neat. When I was working with Wenger, I sent the rep the room dimension and put in the room formula. I like figure out the volume based on the volume and like solid thing. We're going to the dining multipurpose.
What is the floor material in the band room?
Carpet.
Carpet?
County standard carpet. Handed.
Okay.
So this is a multi-purpose room that will be mainly used as a cafeteria, but it can also be used as an auditorium. We left the space for a stage. We didn't include a stage now, but it is there in case you want to include a stage.
We felt we didn't need a stage in this particular space because we have the Black Box Theater and the neighboring performing arts. So we figured we didn't really need to spend extra money on space.
How many students is this meant to seat at a time? Do you remember?
Don't remember.
A
A lot.
a third of the capacity.
Okay. According to the fire marshal.
And the assembly on there matches the high school, so the kids have the same experience coming from the middle five, or not, the middle into the high school.
You want to go there?
Nice equipment that we
So one unique thing about Pasco School is they have their own house. So they have like a pretty specific way that they want their kitchen set up. So given the capacity of the dining space, that's kind of how we do that.
Yes. The question is the band at the top or acoustical? Yes, these are all acoustical panels.
And they're integrated into the monitors, which are the menu boards they can display, control display up there.
Nola, you want to do the same yelling exercise? Just try out the acoustics, see how it works.
There's some outdoor dining. It's kind of loud right now with the rain. But it's in front of the secured courtyard area. The main courtyard is right over there. We'll walk through that, around that in a minute. But this is off of it, visually connected, but separate. Oh, you can't help it.
I think it's right out there. All right. Okay, head over to building 1. The admin building. I'm stuck on building 1, 2, 3.
So as we're walking through, one of the requests, major requests from the district was, let's have some outdoor space. Let's have kids go from building to building, and staff as well. So that set up, that was a big So look at it right now, it's in between the 4 main buildings. We use the buildings as the secure perimeter, and then we secure them, between those buildings with fences and gates. And what we're about to look at, I think we're going to go in building number 1, which is administration. It's going to be off to the left over here. And so anybody, a visitor that comes to the school will go in through the reception area, single point of entry. They'll get checked in, and then depending on where staff wants to allow them access, they will be guided to that section. But in terms of the, kids and staff coming in and out, at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day, we size, and locate the number of gates out of the courtyard to handle that in a smooth fashion. So you'll see that hopefully as we walk through. It's raining out there right now, but we'll go under cover. All of the buildings are connected by covered walkways. So for orientation, Lindsay's showing you a covered walkway right now, straight ahead of the exit or entry gates for the students. Pan around a little bit to the right, you can see the storefront with the doors over there. That's the primary visitor entrance to the campus. And then that's contained within a 2-story building. There are on the second floor, so there's administration on the first floor. The second floor is the media center and some lab spaces. I think we're going to walk through that. As we pan around to the right, the second floor at the media center location, there's a walkway, covered walkway, elevated, that goes over to the 3-story classroom building. So, and as that works out, it's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, so they have the ability to really, there's flexibility in this design because they have the ability to put 6th grade level separation through the floors, or they can do, if they wanted to in the future, they could do sort of departmental kind of driven separation as well. And then in the very back of the courtyard is the gymnasium.
And another good thing about the courtyard is very low maintenance, and mostly hardscape because there'll be a lot of traffic. This is basically a main gathering area between all 4 buildings. So we softened it up a little bit with the planters, but as you can see, it's very low maintenance.
We wanted to create multiple points for staff to be able to be positioned to have that kind of passive observation of the courtyard space. At the middle school level, you can imagine, kids still obviously need the supervision, but they're at a time in their at their developmental growth where they, need that independence as well. So we wanted to strike a balance between giving them the space to allow that independence and kind of congregate themselves, but also have that passive observation that school administrators and staff need to have.
Do you want to mention any of the challenges that you may have had with that bridge connecting the 2 buildings?
Oh, so yeah, this being a courtyard, there's lots, all the utilities for the campus running through here. The coordination with our tilt wall casting areas. This courtyard was definitely a challenge. We did a lot of coordination with civil engineers and the structural, just to make sure that we didn't have interferences. We got it in on time so that we could progress through the tilt wall casting process, the crane erection, and then right about a year ago we were hitting this exact same weather pattern that we've been having. Rains in the morning, rains at night, right as we were trying to dry in through the buildings. So this is the last week or so has been giving us flashbacks of where we were, and that impact. We really had to focus in with our subcontractors to regain that lost time, and all of our trades really did an excellent job in prioritizing and focusing so we could complete the project on time.
main reception area in the admin building. As Steve mentioned, this is the single point of entry. And this door here is actually always locked from the inside, and it's controlled from the reception area, but it's always unlocked from the secure courtyard. So once someone comes into the reception, they get, checked in, and then they can go out to the courtyard, but there would have to be control access.
I think we have two questions. Yeah.
Was this facility designed as a designated disaster shelter? If so, what are the added features?
It was the gymnasium, which we will see at the end of the tour, is the shelter part of the building.
And is it bulletproof?
It is not bulletproof.
Any bullet resistant glazing on the project or no?
No.
No.
They're one of the design features at the reception area here. And I think we had a comment that if you speak, I think if we're behind the camera, it's better for audio. So at the reception area here, this is designed to receive, glazing. And if it had to be ballistic rated, it could be that as well. But so we sort of thought that, if they need that in the future, we wanted to give them that option. And we've seen that throughout the state. Actually, quite a few districts are asking us to plan that way for their reception area. So they want to have the option to do that in the future, but they want it as open and welcoming as they feel they need it to be at this time.
Now you can go over to the media. Yeah, so if anybody was wondering why the panic died from the outside. Neat thing about the locations that Steve mentioned has a direct connection to the classroom building, so anyone can, go back and forth from the classrooms to the media center and point of the day.
Jordan, is all of the furniture coming in at the end of the month or starting?
Yeah, so the final CO will be issued in the next week or two, and then the owner's furniture contractors starting on the 29th. It'll be a 2 or 3 week process of all the different furniture deliveries and providers and manufacturers coming in.
So through the use of furniture in this space, there's going to be a variety of seating areas and stack spaces for the books, but they really need to have kind of small group, casual seating areas. And then in the back of this space, there's there's a collaboration room, which is actually pretty cool because from that space, you can see through different windows the theater from this building. You can look across the site and see the IPAC Center, and then across the other side of the site to the high school. So it's really a great vantage point. But the idea being that they can, have professional development with staff meet in that room. They can have, students meet in kind of medium-sized groups. But out here, when it's all said and done, and that's why it's important to get the furniture out here, is that, they will provide different zones within the media center that accommodate different types of, just sort of comfort levels and things like different furniture that will accommodate different students. Actually, Lindsay, want to go if you don't mind. It's just while we're here, walk through here. it really takes on another life of its own when it has, you know, the furniture. And then of course, when the students are in here, it's a whole new thing. It's pretty cool.
So a question just came through on the lights. Do we know?
I don't remember who the rep was.
All right, we're gonna show this one.
Color electrician. Yeah, so this is the collaboration room. Very spacious for, you know, like group meetings or collaboration area. So again, this is more, you know, like that college-like experience for the middle schoolers.
Yeah.
There's the view you can capture.
Yeah, so that's the view out to the entrance of where we started this tour, out to the Black Box Theater entrance. And then as Lindsay pans over,
See the high school.
maybe through this window over here.
They want to know about the short throw projectors. Is that
So-
what you have up there?
Yeah, so we, that was specified, or we actually were, you know, very lucky that we have a great district to work with and they have great design guidelines. So, you know, everything was coordinated with the district and the projectors were all
And
specified with.
one of the
Guidelines.
reasons we have the short throws in this school, and I failed to mention it earlier, is when we opened a high school, we opened it as a middle high school. So it was temporarily a middle high school. So we put the same kind of technology here that we have at the high school, because that's what they were already used to. That's currently not in our current standards, but technology changes so often. But that's the reason it's here for the transition from the middle high, because that's what they've been used to.
Are you wanting to point to something over here?
So through this window, then you can see the IPAC Theater pretty much straight ahead, and then panning to the right is Cypress Creek High School over there. Kind of gives you a perspective of the size of the property.
Yeah, we should have the furniture in already.
Yeah.
You're down there, you feel much more, but when you're here, it's like high.
I'm assuming the heights of safety.
Secure,
Yeah.
Just past the elevator, but that connects the two buildings.
So we'll show them the
Yeah.
office space. So on each floor, there is and these are stacked from first, second, and third floor. There's an office space. So an assistant principal will be out here, be a little reception area. We just kind of walk through here. So they have a place to meet, if we receive students in here, a counselor can be out here, they have the flexibility to staff it any way they want. But the idea being that, if a student needs to see a counselor or an assistant principal, they don't have to go all the way to the administration building. So that this is identical on each of the 3 floors.
We're doing class, and let's go over here. Go back to that.
As far as finishes, the color accent stripe and alcove color changes per floor to help with wayfinding. So this is our yellow floor. Yeah, so this is our typical classroom space. Nice view of get a view of all the basketball and tennis courts from here and the track. So, I mean, the nice thing about all those courts is that, the entire campus is accessible to all the middle schoolers and high schoolers. So they have access to, 2 tracks and all of the tennis courts and basketball courts.
So at the end of each of these classroom buildings, there's our science labs, demonstration labs in the classroom. So we'll go down now and look at that. Other feature is that they do not have doors on the restrooms. So that the idea is that student goes in there, they do their business, and they come out. And of course, we honor the sight lines. We can't get past that, but it's just more of an open. You can kind of hear the teachers and staff can hear what's going on there. And then there's a connection over to that. There's 2 hallways. So it's kind of what we call a racetrack configuration, classrooms on either side of the building. And then the core space has the office space, mechanical rooms, restrooms. We'll see that as we go down here. And then the science labs are at the end.
We did have 2 questions. The flooring is VCT, Armstrong VCT. We actually use Mannington in the high school because it coordinated better, but as you may or may not know, Armstrong bought Mannington, so now these are the Mannington colors from Armstrong. As far as the mascots, the colors the green is part of their, and the yellow is part of their school colors. And they're the Coyotes. I was gonna call them the Cowboys.
Mike, is the district evolving in terms of evolving how you look at lockers?
That is an ongoing discussion that we've been having for some time. There was a movement to eliminate lockers altogether, but then people brought up the fact that even though they don't carry the books as much, they do carry gym clothes or a gym bag or athletics things that they store.
And we put a half-height locker in, and then it just over time it seemed that a full locker is just too much. So we get a little higher count with those.
Another subtle detail about the pattern on the floor that Noel did mention was that where you see the yellow, where the yellow ends, this defines the exit path. So at any point, if a fire marshal was to come and, if there were chairs, or which I'm sure it wouldn't happen, but if there was anything obstructing the path, you can see clearly where, the required exit path needs to be cleared. All classrooms do have VCT, except for the music classrooms. Those were carpet.
Is that a district standard?
Yes.
Yes. and an acoustical in the music classrooms, they're there for acoustic reasons as well.
They did ask, has this had an impact on the room's desired acoustical properties? I don't know that
We've not
noticed,
encountered that.
yeah.
We've not encountered that problem or issue. No.
Mhm.
So this is one of the science classrooms. So this is actually like one of the science classrooms. We have science classrooms stacked up on first and second floor, and then on the third floor we have like the actual labs. So Winola picked out all of the finishes to accommodate that. So these are not chemical resistant, whereas on the third floor, all of the counters are, and the cabinets are.
these are the resin tops that you typically have in a science room. The cabinets themselves are the laminate in these 2 floors that we've used throughout the project in the other classrooms. Once you get up to the 3rd floor, it's the hardwood science casework. Say the best for last.
So Nola picked out these corner guards, and they just happened to like match the paint perfectly.
Except for the orange. The orange is the
I can go this way towards the end.
All right, you have a question from Phil. Square footage, total square footage of the
He's been
school.
listening at the beginning of he's not listening.
Phil, come on.
No.
189,700 square feet. Thanks, Phil. We'll try that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We couldn't hear a lot in the beginning. Phil has been playing too much golf. How many student stations per classroom?
About 20 kids per class?
22.
22?
22.
1,700.
22, yeah, 22 for, that's a DOE mandate that we need to plan for.
You can tell those are Envision light bollards too.
Yeah.
Those are the,
Is the exterior shell precast?
It's concrete to wall construction.
This is not another black box. Jordan's turning on the lights. So we're in the gymnasium now. Jordan will get us some light.
This is the big reveal.
And it's big. Yay, there we go. So this is the gymnasium, and we designed it same as the high school, very similar. So, you know, that's, I know I keep making this point, but that's another great thing that these students get to have the same experience in middle school as they will in high school. So this is, you know, it matches pretty much same as high school.
And if you, Lindsay, if you show them where Jordan's walking from right now, those doors come in from a reception area. So, and then that reception area is right off the main parking lot. So, the gymnasium, the front door, of course, and then the theater are all accessible to the main parking, which is, ideal for as they want to use the building for community use.
This building will be the shelter. Since we were able to incorporate it into the budget, we installed the permanent EHPA generator to this site, or to this building, covers and powers this whole facility. So in activation, it's fully covered. The district doesn't need to bring in a temporary generator on a trailer. The rest of the campus operates off of a single generator over in building 2 with a multi-purpose building, where the rest of the chiller main plant for the school is.
It's that new gym smell.
Yes.
So in addition to the performing arts program aspect of this campus, part of the vision for the district was to have athletic events. So district, state level events. Combine the stadium and practice field area for the high school with the middle school. The district can host some pretty large events here on this campus. So that was another part of the vision.
Yeah, and we made the decision, like Steve said, to be able to host regional and state track and field events. We put in a special rubberized track at the high school. The middle school doesn't have that specialized track surface, but it does have a track surface. So during those meets, they can practice over here at the middle school, and it's all tied into the same large parking area. So they can practice at the middle school track and then go over for events at the high school.
I know you got a question about the divider curtain.
And volleyball net we put up in gym. Yes.
Beautiful. Full court now.
Full court and half court.
Okay.
I think this is
Okay. If anybody else has any questions at this time? Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you Harvard Jolly, Ajax, Pasco County Schools for letting us tour today and staying open.
Thanks everyone for all the questions.
Yeah, thank you all very much for joining us today.
Great job. Thank you.